तेरो नाम।
हे राम हे राम हे राम हे राम।
तू ही माता तू ही पिता है,
तू ही माता तू ही पिता है,
तू ही माता तू ही पिता है,
तू ही माता तू ही पिता है।
तू ही तो है राधा का श्याम।
हे राम हे राम हे राम हे राम।
तू अंतर्यामी सबका स्वामी,
तू अंतर्यामी सबका स्वामी,
तू अंतर्यामी सबका स्वामी,
तू अंतर्यामी सबका स्वामी।
तेरे चरणों में चारों धाम।
हे राम हे राम।
माइक ऑन करवाने के लिए राम जी की जय बोलिए मैंने। प्रेम से बोलिए राजा रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। श्री रामनवमी के पावन अवसर पर आर्य समाज के इस प्रांगण में बड़ा ही आनंद का समय है। आर्य समाज के अंदर हिंदूज ऑफ ग्रेटर ह्यूस्टन का ये विशेष कार्यक्रम आप सबके अथक प्रयास से श्री राम नवमी के अवसर पर मनाने हेतु हम यहाँ एकत्रित हुए हैं। बिकॉज वी आर इन आर्य समाज, तो मैं आप सबके श्री चरणों में निवेदन करूँगा, एक बारी हम ओम की लंबी ध्वनि से एक ओम का नाम का उच्चारण करेंगे। सभी प्रेम से बोलेंगे ओ। ओम का शंखनाद ही हमारे जीवन में एक उज्जवल प्रकाश ला सकता है। आज के इस कार्यक्रम को शुरू करने के लिए हम भगवान राम की एक छोटी सी वंदना करेंगे। लोकाभिरामं रणरंगधीरं राजीवनेत्रं रघुवंशनाथं कारुण्यरूपं करुणाकरन्तं श्रीराम शरणं शरणं प्रपद्ये। बोलिए राजा रामचंद्र भगवान की। श्री राम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यम राम नाम वरानने। विष्णु सहस्रनाम का जब हम जाप करते हैं, भगवान शिव माता पार्वती जी को विष्णु सहस्रनाम की महिमा सुना रहे हैं, तो अंत में पार्वती जी की जिज्ञासा से भगवान शिव ने एक श्लोक में राम नाम की महिमा बताई कि पार्वती, अगर समय नहीं है संपूर्ण विष्णु सहस्रनाम पढ़ने का, तो आप केवल राम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यम राम नाम वरानने। तो अगर हम राम नाम लेंगे तो हमारे जीवन में राम जैसा ही प्रकाश रहेगा। तो अन्य कोई वक्तव्य के अलावा मैं आप सबके यही प्रार्थना करूंगा, केवल 1 से 1.5 मिनट के लिए हम सब अपने अपने स्थान पर ही बैठे हुए श्री राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम बोलिए साहब, सब जने बोलिए श्री राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम। अब तो हमारा मंदिर बन रहा है, अब तो प्रेम से बोलो श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम। हमारे आज के इस कार्यक्रम का हम प्रारंभ करते हैं। सर्वप्रथम हमारे संजय भैया जी का मैं आह्वान करूंगा, जो हमारे आर्य समाज के सेवक हैं। वैसे गोस्वामी जी ने लिखा है सबसे कठिन सेवक हूँ धर्मा, तो ये हमारे सेवक है आर्य समाज के। आज की इस लीला का प्रारंभ करेंगे। प्रेम से बोलिए राजा रामचंद्र भगवान की जय।
गोपाल जी नमस्कार, धन्यवाद। बहुत अच्छा रामनवमी के उपलक्ष्य पे आपने शुरुआत करी। मेरा नाम संजय जैन है, मैंने बता दिया। आर्य समाज का मैं सेवक हूँ, आर्य समाज में सेवक हूँ, और बाकी भी जो कुछ कर सकते हैं करते हैं। स्टार्टिंग एवरीबडी, नमस्ते एवरीबडी, वेलकम टुडे। ऑनरेबल असीम महाजन जी, अशोक कुमार जी, आवर काउंसिल जनरल इन द काउंसिल एट द काउंसिल ऑफ ह्यूस्टन, हमारे फाउंडिंग प्रेसिडेंट देव महाजन जी एंड डॉक्टर सुषमा महाजन जी। Soul has bring this institution forward. Today is a great event. We are celebrating Ramnavmi through our children, through the various speakers you will hear. Thanks to Hindus of Greater Houston, their board members who put this program together in a very short window, and we are here to celebrate them. The participation of children was especially difficult because of their AP schedule and so forth. So you will acknowledge how talented they are in the short window, and they are also here to celebrate. Arya Samaj Greater Houston has been associated with children from day one. And moving forward, we have two successful schools that we run. The weekday Montessori and Elementary School runs Monday to Friday, and the Sanskriti School, which runs on Sundays. And both went online a year ago, as you all know, due to the pandemic, but they are returning to in-person teaching from fall, which will begin in August. So if you have any children or anybody, please visit our website or even contact me to give you more information, or call the schools. In addition, Arya Samaj, of course, we went online, but we have not missed a single day of Havan in the Samaj. And we completed our 3 years, celebrated the Sthapana Divas, which coincided with 146 years of Arya Samaj Foundation itself. And we tested this setting, which turned out very good. So we are working hard to open this for everybody to be able to attend the satsang every Sunday. So without further ado, I welcome you all. It's a pleasure to see all the children here, and I had the pleasure of listening to some of them, and I'm sure you'll give them a lot more encouragement as you hear them through their ways. What is the purpose of, what do we learn from Ramchandra ji in today's world? With that, let me introduce you to our two young MCs, Anjali Agarwal and Anusha Sathya. They'll be taking the program forward from here. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. Happy Ramnavmi to you all. My name is Anjali Agarwal, and I am one of today's speech contest awardees. I would like to apologize in advance for any mispronunciations. I would like to invite on stage Ms. Supra Deepta Datta and her students from Kalangan School of Odyssey in Sugarland. Today, the students of Kalangan present an Abhinay piece named Ram Vandana. Based on the Indian classical dance style of Odissi, this expression-based composition is in praise of the blue-hued Lord Ram. The lyrics of Goswami Tulsidas describe the beauty and valor of Sri Ram. The people of his kingdom eagerly await the return of their King Ram. from his 14-year-long exile to take his rightful place on the throne. He is the slayer of many a demon, Ravan. I would like to invite on stage the dancers Uparna Sarkar Banerjee, Reema Bhatt Jarji, Sanchali Basu, and Koshiki Tawari. Based on Rag Kalyani and set to Tal Tripata, a cycle of 7 beats, this rendition is sung by Sri Ratan Mohan Sharma. The music composition is by Sri Ajay Atal, and the dance choreography is directed by Srimati Subradipta Datta. Ms. Datta is the founder-director of Kulangan Odyssey Dance School, an institute for the promotion of Odyssey. She is also a faculty at Kala Bhavan, the Visual and Performing Arts Center of the Houston Durga Bari Society, and Silambam, Houston. We will now begin with the speeches. So I would like to first invite Anusha Satya. Our first awardee is Anusha Satya, a freshman studying neuroscience at UT San Antonio. Anusha has an extensive resume, having worked and volunteered with many organizations such as the Eternal Gandhi Museum in Houston, Shri Meenakshi Temple, Maud Marks Public Library, and Bharati Kalaya Mandiram. She believes that the best way to support one's religion is to support the people and the institutions and organizations who are engaged in the service of it. An inspirational quote Anusha would like to share with everyone today is, "Work for a cause, not for applause. Live life to express, not to impress." So Anusha, I would like to invite you on stage to accept your award or your acceptance speech.
I would like to thank the Hindus of Greater Houston for giving me an amazing opportunity to speak on the relevance of the Ramayana in today's world. The Ramayana is a moral influence on the importance of virtue. The Ramayana has carved out the building blocks of Hindu religion and its massively diverse culture. The great Indian values and heritage owes its existence to Valmiki's epic story. Even in today's generations, the basic human ethics and values can be traced out back to the Ramayana. The Ramayana teaches us that it is possible and is also necessary to ensure victory over evil forces. Lord Ram is the epitome of kindness, compassion, and love. His wisdom and patience made it possible for him to follow his inner good without worrying about the laws of luxuries and kingship. In today's world, the lessons of Ramayana can be seen through the following. No matter how powerful the evil force may be, it will always be defeated by the good. Truth always wins. Last but not least, the Ramayana will shape today's world with dharma and cultural values. Thank you.
Our second awardee is Riya Shah, a junior at the High School for Performing and Visual Arts. Her hobbies include playing the piano and percussion instruments. Riya has won many musical competitions. In lieu of her many extracurriculars, Riya has also attended Vallabh Vidya Mandir on Sundays for spiritual learning and would like to pursue a major in biology.
Thank you. So, we all know that the world is not the best place or anywhere as close as it once used to be. And so we're surrounded by an environment that causes us to be vicious. And we get away with it by saying it's because of the world we grew up in, poor environment. But Ram also grew up in an imperfect world. So what did he do that we can also do? He gave guidance and direction to others that were straying from their path. He gave confidence to others, and, but most importantly, he passed on morals to create new leaders. Now, those qualities are very much at our disposal today, and not impossible to execute. So when we look at ideal figures, we remember Sri Ram. Bhagwan Sri Ram was known as Maryada Purushottam, which means the man of limits, and the key word in that description is man, not limits. We all have our roles as a daughter, son, brother, sister, and such, but first we are all human beings. Similarly, Ram was first a human being upon taking his many roles as a son, brother, father, friend, and king. Right from childhood, he had an immense amount of responsibility. So when they first went to Vashisht Muni's Gurukul, his younger brothers were homesick and they were having trouble falling asleep. And to his caring nature, Ram helped them go to sleep. He also showed immense amounts of leadership in all his roles. And leadership is not only about leading and following in that same way. It's about being a best leader that you can be to give rise to new leaders. An excellent example being from Tulsidas Goswami's Ramcharitramanas Lankakan chapter. Bahut bujhaye tumhahi ka kaho. Param chatur mein janat ahahu. Kaju hamar tasu hito hoy. Ritu san karehu but kahi sui. This is Ram talking to Prince Angad and telling him to go to Lanka. He says, I do not need to give you elaborate instructions because I know you are supremely clever. You should talk with the enemy with such words as may advance my cause and serve his interest at the same time. By giving Prince Angad complete autonomy, he showed trust and boosted Prince Angad's self-confidence. And not only did he create leaders with those two qualities, he created leaders by being selfless. He brought justice to the people of Lanka, so it made sense for him to become their king. And he was also offered to become king. But he knew his duty was to kill Ravan and return to Ayodhya. And so he made Vibhishan the king, knowing that there are good traits which would make him a remarkable leader. And these good qualities that Ram instilled and passed on into others was a way to ensure that they can be implicated in our lives today. So, as per following Prabhu Sri Ram's lead, why don't we do the same? Let's start together and we'll take it one day at a time and input these qualities into future generations. Thank you. Jai Sri Ram.
Our third awardee is Stavya Agarwal, the youngest of all of our participants. Stavya is in 5th grade and attends Arya Samaj Sunday School and has participated in all Arya Samaj group activities. He has also been a part of the Hindu Heritage Youth Camp. Stavya is extremely talented and loves to sing bhajans. He has been learning Indian classical music for the last 6 years. Apart from music, Stavya also loves Legos and robotics.
Shri Ram Ram Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ram Nama Varanane. Shri Ram, the 7th avatar of Bhagavan Vishnu, who, even though was blessed with superpowers, yet decided to live a common man's life, displaying perfect morale as well as social behaviors to uphold dharma. Most of us know Ramayana as the story of Ram, Sita and Lakshman going to the forest and then later on, with the help of Hanuman, killing Ravan. Having said that, what I find the most interesting and inspiring about Ramayana is the journey of a prince, Ram, who transforms himself into Maryada Purushottam Sri Ram through his life struggles, inspiring generations to come. Respected distinguished guests, elders and friends, Namaste. My name is Stavya Agarwal and it is my honor and privilege today to show my views on how Lord Ram is relevant in today's time. Among many, there are 3 key qualities that I would like to highlight today. The first one is inclusivity. Sri Ram is at the core of Bharatiya civilization and is an intrinsic part of lives, cutting across barriers of language, caste, creed, and even international boundaries. In a world where we heard discrimination based on color, race, and a world where hate crimes are so prevalent, learning and admiring his interactions with Nishad, Kevat, Shabri, Sugriv, and many more Vanvasis, along with how he treated them with love and respect, is what I see as strong examples for all of us to follow today. Ram inspires us to change our consciousness from me to we. The next one is about trusting family and friends. Ram always trusted Lakshman and Hanuman. They were more than a brother and devotee to him, and they have proved that time and time again. He trusted the weight of his kingdom to his brother Bharat and the responsibility of his family to his other brother Shatrughan. He also trusted Sugriv and Vibhishan and followed their advice in the war against Ravan, demonstrating examples that your family and friends always have your back, no matter how tight of a spot you are in. And the third one is to remain calm and never give up. Remember when he was told to go for 14 years of exile, or when Sita was held captive by Ravan? Ram never overreacted to the situation and instead tried finding a fitter response. And he never backed down, no matter if he had to build a bridge all the way to Lanka or had to build an army of Vanars and Vanvasis. Towards the end, I'd only say Rama is an epitome of virtue and an idol of dharma. He characterizes how a man should fulfill his moral commitments and should strictly follow his limits so that social order can be maintained. And that is why he is known as Maryada Purushottam, or the man of limits. I'd like to finally leave you with this verse from Ramayana, where sitting in Sri Lanka, Sri Ram tells the importance of mother and motherland to Lakshman. He says, Api Swarnmayi Lanka Name Lakshman Rochite Janani Janma Bhumischa Swargadapi Gariyasi. This means that mother and the motherland is beyond the best you can get in this or even beyond this world. So wherever you are, keep loving your mother and the motherland. Thank you. Namaste.
Hi everyone, I will be your second MC for today. So up next we have Shiv Shah. Shiv Shah currently goes to Anthony Middle School in Cypress, Texas. He is in 8th grade and wants to become a neurologist. He's a part of the Science Olympiad state team, plays basketball for Sci-Fair Sports League. He's a level 3 student in SGGM Vedic School as well. He has worked hard on his speech and is confident that he will win.
Thank you, everybody. My name is Shiv. I'm 14 years old, and I'm going to be talking to you today about Ram, Lord Ram. What is Rama Vigrahavan Dharma? The literal meaning is Lord Ram is the embodiment of Dharma. He represents Dharma. Throughout his pastimes on earth, he spread Dharma. And Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yada yada hi dharmasya. This means the Lord will come millennium after millennium to spread Dharma, which is what he did with Lord Ram. But why is this important? Well, first of all, there are actually two types of Dharma. One is bodily Dharma and the other one is related to the soul. Bodily Dharma is related to the body. And because the body is temporary, this Dharma is also temporary. Some examples of bodily Dharma would be good values, good morals, and how we treat each other in society, in this body. Lord Ram was a perfect king, a perfect husband, a perfect warrior, so he is embodying bodily Dharma, and he is showing us how to do it too. But the real reason Lord Ram came was to spread the Dharma of the soul. In this case, Dharma means duty, and the duty of the soul is to become closer to the Lord. But how do we do that? By doing pure devotional service or bhakti. Bhakti can be doing arti or offering the Lord food, or it can be doing kirtan. Anything done in the name of the Lord, lovingly and sincerely, is called bhakti. Lord Ram displayed bhakti through his devotees like Sita, Hanuman, and Lakshman. But still, why is Rama Vigrahavan Dharma important? We know that Lord Ram came to spread Dharma, but what does this have to do with us? Well, just like Lord Ram, pure devotees all over the world are spreading Dharma, and we must listen to them and do our part by doing not just one, but both types of bodily Dharma, both types of Dharma, to fulfill our duty of becoming closer to the Lord and making the world a better place. Thank you. I would also like to thank HGH for giving me the opportunity, and also my teacher at Sri Govindaji Gaudiya Math for helping me with the speech. Thank you.
Furthermore, we have Anjali Agarwal. Anjali Agarwal is currently a senior at Kempner High School in Sugar Land, Texas. She's planning on pursuing pre-medicine at the University of Houston this August. Anjali has volunteered with many organizations in the past and helped out with the Young Hindus of Greater Houston Youth Awards as the Director of Marketing. She would like to be more involved in the Hindu community and is currently interning with the Hindus of Greater Houston.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. I believe that in order to truly understand the essence of Shri Ram in modern society, we must first understand who he was and what made him so great. Shri Ram was the seventh of God of Lord Vishnu and had descended on earth during the Treta Yuga, roughly around 1.2 million years ago, according to one source. Yes, you're hearing that right. Sanatana Dharma has lasted far longer than any history book can account for. Lord Shri Ram is an undisputed standard of ideal, also known as Maryada Purushottam, which translates to the man of limits, who is supreme in honor. Out of the 16 kalas, or qualities of Lord Vishnu, Shri Ram is the master of 14. He is the epitome of righteousness and dharma in the modern world. That is his legacy and why we celebrate him even today, 1.2 million years later in the Kali Yuga. Since Shri Ram's descent in the Treta Yuga, the world has drastically changed. Immorality and adharma have increased. Yet by reading the Ramayana, we are able to learn how to remain within the limits of dharma, with Shri Ram as the perfect role model. Shri Ram was a devoted son, brother, husband, and king. To respect the wishes of one of his mothers, Kekai, and to honor the promise of his father Maharaj Dasharatha, Shri Ram accepted his 14-year exile without a second thought. Shri Ram had said to Rishi Vashist that it is difficult for the children to repay the debt of what the mother and the father have done to bring them up. From his sacrifice, we learn how one must carry out his duties towards his parents with pure devotion. And not only did he carry out his duties as a son, but he did so as a husband as well, teaching us the principles needed in marriage. After their return from exile, Sri Ram's subjects were wrongly doubtful of Sita Mata's purity. Although she had been proven pure through a test of fire, their concern led Sri Ram into a moral dilemma. In order to fulfill his duties as king, Sri Ram had to banish Sita Mata to Rishi Valmiki's ashram. However, he had promised to remain true to Sita Mata and never remarried. Swami Vivekananda had described Sri Ram as the embodiment of truth, of morality, the ideal son, the ideal husband, and above all, the ideal king. Sri Ram was able to characterize how a man should fulfill his moral commitments and should strictly follow his limits so that social order can be maintained. The teachings of the Ramayana are held as the moral edict in Hindu families, even today. This is because it creates a strong value system in society. Its teachings establish the values of selflessness, honesty, courage, and helps maintain the highest standards of integrity. Shri Ram had said to Maharishi Jebali that just as people are afraid of serpents, they are afraid of people who utter lies. Truth controls this world, and dharma is rooted in truth. The war fought by Sri Ram against Ravan was to establish the importance of principles. Sri Ram came on earth to restore dharma in society and to teach us how we must live under the guidance of proper principles and values. And I would like to end the speech with one of those values that Sanatan Dharma has taught us, following the principles of Sri Ram. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Jai Shri Ram.
Next, we have Kritika Dwarkanath. She is an 8th grader at Linear Middle School in Houston, Texas. She has been volunteering at the Houston Namadwar since she was in elementary school. She hopes to learn more about the Sanatana Dharma by participating in events like these. Kritika is very passionate about music and computers, and she plans to study computer engineering in college.
Radhe Radhe, Honorable Consul General Asim Mahajan ji, Tara Auntie, Hemat Jadhav ji, and everyone else. By the grace of my Guru Maharani Shri Shri Muralidhara Swami ji, I'm here to talk about the relevance of Lord Rama in today's world. The Ramayana is beautiful, not just in the story it tells, but in the valuable life lessons it teaches. It's called Ramasya Ayana, which means the path that Lord Rama walked. What can we learn from this path, and how does it apply to today? This can be summarized into 2 simple points. 1, Rama always followed his dharma, and 2, Rama knew how to connect with and inspire other people. Now, dharma is your duty, but it can also be translated as your nature. For example, it's a dog's dharma to wag its tail when it's happy. Rama had quite a few major dharmas in the Ramayana, but one of the major ones was that of being an ideal son. And he did this by upholding his family's honor. If you'll remember, when Dasharatha was asked to send Rama to the forest for 14 long years, he didn't want to do that. But Rama knew that if he didn't do this, his father's word would not be true anymore. And so he went there to prove that his father's word was indeed always the truth. He also fulfilled his role as an ideal husband by going to rescue Sita Mata when she was kidnapped. And he really truly missed her and always thought of her. Many other stories would show how the person who was kidnapped was longing for the person to rescue them. But in this case, Rama is the one who lost Sita, and he is the one crying. He is the one we follow on the journey, which shows that he really, really wants to get Sita back. And this is a metaphor for how the Lord wants us to attain him later. And finally, he fulfilled his dharma as a king by coming back to Ayodhya and ruling justly. He also gave the kingdoms of Lanka and Kishkinda to Vibhishana and Sugriva respectively. Now, being a king in Treta Yuga would have required you to be able to connect with and inspire others. Which brings me to my second point on how Lord Rama did exactly that. Now, when Vibhishana came and decided to join Rama's side, Rama decided to call all the Vanarats for a meeting instead of simply saying, I'm going to accept this person, all of you have to agree with me. He instead called a meeting, asked everyone for their opinion, and then he picked an opinion that he liked and reinforced it to show why Vibhishana wanted to join. And this is proper communication skills which are really valuable in today's society. And also, when Rama had finally killed Vali and Sugriva had just gotten his kingdom back, Sugriva wanted to go look for Sita Mata right away. But Rama knew that Sugriva had suffered for a very, very long time. He had been running all over the world being chased by Vali, and he just wanted to keep going to look for Sita. So Rama decided that Sugriva had suffered enough. Let him enjoy a few months of a normal life. And even though Sugriva took a little extra time than he needed, he came back and was ready to go look for Sita Mata, and they did find her in the end. In conclusion, Rama had many desirable qualities that are valuable for today's world, including always following his dharma and knowing how to connect with and inspire other people. These traits can help make us better people, and we can make the society a better place. Radhe Radhe, thank you for this opportunity.
Continuing the program, we have Kripa Rati. She is currently a sophomore at Travis High School in Sugarland. She aspires to become a dermatologist in the future and is part of various organizations that give back to the community. She is involved in both many extracurricular activities in and out of school, and she wants to become more connected with her community. She involved learning about our culture and is excited about being involved in Hindus of Greater Houston.
Namaste and Jai Shri Ram. I'd like to thank Hindus of Greater Houston for giving me this opportunity to express my view on the relevance of Ramayana in today's society. When we think of the Ramayana, we think of the great Indian epic poem that narrates the life of Rama in his exile. We put so much emphasis upon Rama's sacrifices and heroics that we sometimes fail to recognize the great support system Rama had that allowed him to fulfill this exile and rescue Sita from Ravana. There are many instances in this epic where we see that Rama relied on his family and companions that he met along the journey, and together they accomplished the unthinkable, the defeat of Ravana. Throughout Rama's life, Lakshmana and Bharat never left the side of their older brother, and Lakshmana willingly gave up his lavish lifestyle to follow him and Sita through the 14-year Vanvas, which was given to Rama as a result of Kaikeyi's desire for her son Bharat to become king. Rama accepted his fate without any questions or arguments and was accompanied by Sita and Lakshmana on this demanding voyage. However, Kaikeyi's plans had failed, as Bharat only completed the responsibilities of a king and never accepted the title, waiting for his brother to return home. He also fulfilled the request of Rama to take care of their family in Braja. On the other hand, Lakshmana traveled with his brother and helped him search for Sita, and when Ravana abducted her, and fought alongside him as they worked to free Sita. No matter where Rama was, he always had someone to rely on and trust, as there was no way he could complete these difficult tasks himself. We see Rama's appreciation for Lakshmana as he states, one may have wives and relatives in every country, but one cannot have a brother like Lakshmana in every place. The Ramayana teaches us the importance of dependence and trust, as we can't do everything for ourselves. For example, in today's world, we collaborate to solve personal and global issues, as studies prove that having a strong support system have many benefits, such as higher levels of well-being, better coping skills, and a decreased risk of depression and anxiety. Additionally, another prevalent teaching of the Ramayana is its strength of faith and how we can worship anywhere to seek the blessing of God, as long as you have a clean heart and pure intentions. In the Ramayana, we can see how Hanumanji hamesha Ram naam lete hai, Jai Shri Ram, koi bhi karya ke pehle, as he believes in the faith and power of his name. Even today, we consistently take part in aartis, bhavans, and rituals, praising God's name in order to receive punya and ashirvad. By just taking God's name, we are able to soothe ourselves by reminding ourselves that God will always look out for us and does everything for a reason. There are many ways to interpret the Ramayana and its values, as everyone has a unique viewpoint and certain values that they abide by. In this evolving society, we constantly change ourselves to fit into social trends and to keep up with such demanding social views. But we must remember to follow our teachings and beliefs as it provides some structure and guidance for us. It is vital that we learn about the numerous values and morals demonstrated in the Ramayana and learn how to apply them in our daily lives to improve the current version of ourselves. Jai Shri Ram.
Last but not least, we have Vipashit Nanda, who is a senior at Alif Kerr High School, Texas. He is part of the National Honor Society, Mu Alpha Theta, National Honor Society President and Speech and Debate Team. He volunteered and facilitated at the Diwali Mela at Arya Samaj with food stalls, fireworks and game stalls, Meals on Wheels projects, ILEAD Interfaith Ministries, volunteered to package items for distribution to the asylum seekers and refugees. He is a recipient of several awards. Vipashit is a dynamic young man with extensive credentials.
Namaste everyone. Today I'll be talking about Ramnavmi and Shri Ram. Ramnavmi, or the celebration of Lord Ram's birthday, falls on the Navami, or the 9th day of the month of Chaitra in the Hindu calendar. In Valmiki's Ramayana, it depicts the epic story of Ram. And not only serves as a storytelling device, but also as a medium through which every human can learn about values and ethics. Valmiki essentially describes Ram as Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha, or Ram is the embodiment of Dharma who displays perfect moral as well as social behavior. He contains multiple attributes of Dharma, such as Dhriti, patience, Kshama, compassion, Dam, self-control, Asteya, non-stealing, Shaucha, cleanliness, Dhi, intellect, Vidya, spiritual knowledge, Satya, truthfulness, and Akrodha, non-anger. He is the upholder of dharma and righteousness, and he holds true to his ideals through the face of trials and tribulations, whether it be his exile from his kingdom to his separation from his beloved wife Sita. This is why he's known as Maryada Purushottam. Maryada representing his inner principles and values that creates a moral limit, and Purushottam representing him as the best man or the best human being. So simply put, Ram is the personification of the highest human values and never deviates from this righteous path in his thoughts, actions, or words. We can see this idealism in the Ramayana when Kaikeyi approaches Ram to confirm about the 3 conditions, which is that he cannot be coronated as king, Bharat has to be made king, and that he has to be in exile for 14 years. Ram replies to her as, Raghukul Reet Sada Chali Aayi, Pran Jai Par Vachan Nahi Jai, which translates to, it is the tradition of the Raghukul dynasty, that lives may be lost, but a promise always has to be kept. With such strong ideals, it makes perfect sense on why Sri Ram is the perfect ideal human being. So Swami Vivekananda even goes on to describe him as the embodiment of truth, of morality. He's the ideal son, the ideal husband, and above all, he's the ideal king. Lord Ram characterizes how a man should fulfill his dharma and strictly follow his moral values so that we can maintain the social order. And I think in today's world, it is important that we realize Ram's idealistic views and approach, and so we can gain inspiration from. We should be socialized to be selfless, honest, courageous, and maintain the highest standards of integrity. We should make an honest attempt to grow in the virtues that Lord Rama represents, so that we can become better people and make the world a better place, and finally, follow in the footsteps of such a great human being. Dhanyavad and Namaste.
And now we would like to invite Ms. Manisha Gandhi to the stage.
Namaste everybody, Jai Shri Ram. I'm a board of director with Hindus of Greater Houston, It's my honor and pleasure today to introduce our chief guest, the Honorable Asim Mahajanji. He's the Consul General of India in Houston. And before his arrival to Houston in January 2020, he was the ambassador for India at the World Trade Organization in Geneva. And he has served the Ministry of Foreign Affairs since 1998, serving several locations and countries, Kuala Lumpur, Dhaka, Laos, the list is long, Tokyo, and many accolades to his name. And we are honored to have you, sir, in Houston. And after his arrival, pandemic had hit all over the world, but he managed not only to give Houston the support that was needed and all of the 9 states that you serve, but just carrying on without skipping a beat and bringing the community together and connecting with all of us, organizations as well as individuals. So we really appreciate your work, sir, and we invite you for some inspirational words for these young students. Namaste.
Good afternoon to all of you. A lot of you before this have shared with me and expressed solidarity with us. As you are all aware, we are going through this pandemic and challenging times. I wish to thank you for your sentiments of support and solidarity with us. I'm confident that we will be able to tide over this soon. I also want to congratulate all the youth who have participated today in this contest, and that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to come down, and that is my inspiration to come today in the afternoon, because youth are very important to us. We really value our connect with them. I'll share a few themes and thoughts on few things, because I think it is also what the consulate tries to do, to connect with the community, to connect with all of you, and to share with you what we are doing. As two vibrant democracies having open and multicultural societies, shared values, commonalities in culture, India and United States are natural partners. Our comprehensive strategic partnership is broad-based, with growing engagement in areas like energy, defense, security, trade and investment, and growing people-to-people contacts. India also shares a very strong connect with this part of United States, which is manifest by the very vibrant Indo-American community we have here, people like you and many others. The number is growing. The recent figures say that Texas has the second largest Indo-American community, and I have been visiting a few places around. We have, of course, been in the virtual mode because of this pandemic, but the number is growing and our connect is growing with this part. I don't need to tell you, as many of you are very closely connected with India, but the demographics of India is something I wanted to share with you. India is amongst the youngest countries in the world. Our median age is only 28, and more than half our population is below 35 years of age. So our working population is growing. I think it is a big strength for us, and that is something which will propel India into this century as a growing power, not only and a leader in the world in all the areas. We are celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, India at 75. Our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, recently launched it in March, coinciding with the Dandi March on March 12th, and it is going to go on till the next 2 years, till August 2023. And this Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, which is celebration of India at 75 years together. The consulate here, of course, strives to serve the community and also to deepen our connect with United States, to work on Indo-US relations. We are working on many themes like trade and investment in areas like energy, healthcare and medical research, aerospace, information communication technologies, innovation and manufacturing. We have strong cultural ties with this part of United States, which people like you represent, and we celebrate all the important festivals, various occasions. We are also having a large number of Indian students studying here. We have more than 200,000 Indian students who are studying in United States. This year also, it is reaffirmed that India has the second largest number of students who come here to study, a very large number in this part of United States as well. in the universities here in Texas and all over southern United States. They are a big connect for us. You are all youth here, and this is award ceremonies about youth. India has recently announced its new education policy, which is a quantum leap in the future. We are trying to build clusters, we are trying to build institutions with common themes, promote innovation, promote technology. It offers an immense opportunity for the youth to connect. Already it's easy to come from India, and so many students come here, but it will become even more easier with transferring of your credits, with growing flexibility, and also a great opportunity for areas like vocational training, innovation, research, and these themes, and you people have a great role to play in that. Please do think about it on what we can do together to promote institutional linkages, joint exchange programs, having one semester here, one semester in institutions in India, and even having universities from here going and building campuses in India. These are the things we are working on with many of the large network of educational and research institutions across southern United States. And finally, the inspiration to come here today, I'm listening to all of you. It's truly impressive how you imbibe the culture of India and how your understanding of the community. What I can definitely share with you is that we are really proud of our Indo-American community based here, and I have no hesitation in acknowledging that. We have gone through a very challenging year. When I came in here last year from Geneva in January, and in the beginning I did get to travel around a little bit, but since middle of March, we have been trying to combat this pandemic, and it has come in waves across the world, including United States. It has not spared any corner of the world. You are all aware. At the consulate, we have tried our best to support during these times. We ran the Vande Bharat mission in the beginning when flights had stopped, but we are fortunate that flights run between India and United States. We reached out to various people. There were students here, short-term visitors here, many people whose visas were expiring and things like that. We grant a lot of consular services. Even now, people travel to India and we try to support them. But I must say that during these times, the community here, the various cultural community organizations, the social organizations, religious organizations, they have not only supported us, but they have supported their own communities, which really helps us to amplify our effort. You are our true ambassadors here. Whenever I go anywhere, I talk to anyone across states in southern United States, to various political leaders, to various people. It is the Indo-American community which has been so resilient and which has contributed to the socio-economic development of their own communities and also supported their local communities during this pandemic, whether it is in cities, in towns, or the states. And I think that is something which we should continue to do. We should continue to do our activities together, which helps us to amplify what we are doing and what we are doing together. The consulate is there to support you in this initiative. Indians, wherever they go across the world, are known for their indomitable spirit, their sense of dedication, their forbearance in the face of hardship, and also how they merge in the local cultures and maintain their own identities. When I meet young people, I always tell them, we should be proud of who we are, how we are brought up, our own identities, and yet be part of the local culture, be friends, try to build bridges with our local people, because ultimately, wherever you live, people notice you, people see you, and I think we bring a lot of pride that way, that we have youth like you who are representing this diverse and growing community here. You are connected back home, and as well you are excelling in your fields here. I don't need to overemphasize. You have already expounded and emulated many of the qualities which you already mentioned are important, but I think the role of youth in this Indo-US relationship is really important. You are our true bridges. I highlighted the opportunity in the area of education, the new education policy. In the coming years, you are all people who will be studying in various universities, you will be joining institutions, you will be promoting exchanges with India, working on our various initiatives. India is growing rapidly, the economy is growing. I know we are going through this pandemic, but we have earlier surmounted this challenge last year. I'm sure we will be able to do it again. We are running many new initiatives like our Smart Cities initiative. Every small city in India with such a large population, we are trying to build smart cities. We are running a Digital India initiative, we are running a Skill India initiative, we are running a Startup India initiative, the Swachh Bharat initiative. There are multiplicity of these initiatives, and in the area of science and technology, as many of you know, and you already know that, in areas like information communication technologies, advanced manufacturing, artificial intelligence, startups, these are the areas which are already, Indians are known for it, and even within India there is a lot of innovation taking place, so do help us in connecting in those areas. We have programs like the Know India program, which we will definitely work through various organizations. And when we do these multiplicity of calls with the various organizations, what we have been doing a lot of virtual calls with the states we cover, every state here. Texas, of course, you're fortunate, you have such a big community, some states have smaller communities, but what I do find is that people want to connect back, and they want to connect the youth more. So we are here, and as I mentioned in the beginning, that was one of the main reasons why I came here, because we really want to connect the youth more with youth back in India. Your parents came here earlier, maybe you are second generation or third generation. People who have lived in India, they know about India, you go back to India. It's growing, it's very vibrant, but you should continue to tell your friends what you spoke today, connecting back to your communities. And I can definitely share with you what, during this 1.5 years here, almost a year and couple of months here. Before this, I was in the World Trade Organization, 4 years in the world of trade negotiations, which was a very different world. We were fighting, a different thing on trade wars and issues related to trade. But ever since I have come here, I think what I have realized is compassion, service to the community is something. If you serve your own communities, it comes back to you in a bigger way, trust me. And it gives you a lot of joy. I saw some of you mention that if you give to the community like what you mentioned in your speeches also, it will give you a lot of happiness. And trees which are big have roots which are very deep. So during these times and during other times, if you have strong communities wherever you live, that support system is really important. And trust me, you will learn to value it more than anything else in life as you grow in life. I'm sure all of you will be individually successful. As everyone here, we meet people who have done exceedingly well. We are proud of them, and it makes us proud. But at the same time, if you give back to your community in whatever way you can, there are different ways of doing it, and people here, they do it in different ways. Whatever way you can, please do give back. It will come back to you, and it will help you in your general happiness, sharing your joy, celebrating festivals together, celebrating it with your families, with your friends, and your families being together. I think that's what humans are about. That's what we live for, to celebrate with each other. And also count your blessings. That is another thing I think we should not undermine, because there are many people who are in different circumstances. They may not be so fortunate. So every day you should count your blessings of what you have and stay strong. And I look forward to more such initiatives. During this Vande Bharat mission also, we got a lot of volunteers to support us, and for our various community food distribution drives, people support us. But this Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav is just launched. It's going to be there for the next 2 years. And I welcome suggestions from all of you in whatever way we can support you in your cultural activities, your social activities, or even otherwise on exchanges with India, on trade and investment. All these different themes we are working with the various organizations. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and please stay connected with us.
Dev Mahajan ji, if you can just walk up here, please. I just want you to hand over a small token to Asim ji.
Give a round of applause to all the children, please. They were amazing. Such an inspiration, and the analysis of the Ramayana in today's world and how it's implementable in current times. I'm amazed of all of you who have put in the effort, and just wanted you to be aware that this year, because of the pandemic and the speech contest on Zoom, The age differences of participants was quite vast, ranging from a 5th grader all the way to a senior in high school. And so judging was very difficult for our judges, and just want you to keep that in mind. Everyone was a winner today, so kudos. Now I invite each participant to be awarded a certificate by Hindus of Greater Houston by Asimji and Taraji, who is the president of Hindus of Greater Houston. Anusha Satyanarayan. Anusha Satyanarayan. Riya Shah. Anjali Madhusudan Agarwal. Kritika Champa Dwarkanath. Stavya Agarwal. He's the youngest of the batch, 5th grade. Shiv Shah. Krupa Rathi. Vipashchit Nanda. And all the participants, please come here and gather so we can have a quick group photo after Vipashchit receives his certification. Jai Shri Ram.
Thank you very much, Consul General Sri Asim Mahajanji. We appreciate your joining us in this event once again. Our focus turns to the youth. And thank you also for giving us the enthusiasm to do the speech contest for youth, because I know every time I met him, he'll say, what are you doing next thing for the youth? Because, he felt it was very important we celebrate our youth. And as we saw today, each one of them brought out the best kind of, expressions of I thought that it's going to be challenging for a youth to talk about relevance of Ram in today's world. But yet, each one of them brought the relevance, took the topic to the kind of core of Ramu Dharmavan. So that they have all spoken about, and I'm very, very thankful to all the kids who have taken this effort. I thank Arya Samaj for hosting this event. Thanks to Chairman Dev Mahajanji, President Sanjay Jainji, Acharya Suryanandaji for this beautiful place. It has been truly a rewarding experience indeed. All the participants came up with angles of how the great epic has reflected on the young minds, expressed them so beautifully. You'll all be aware that there was a large difference in age groups from 11 till 18, all the different age groups, and we did not categorize the participants as coming from level of middle school, elementary school, high school, but yet we had to, because the number of participants were so low, I thought we should have them all be celebrated. To me, everybody was a winner even before we called it a contest. So as one of our board members said, when the word contest is added, they'll give their best shot to perform better. I don't think these kids needed anything better. It would have come automatically. So I accepted it, went along. Judges also had tough time giving the points. We had 3 judges, Brij Katuriaji, Dr. Bala Iyer, and Vivek Menon. Independently, they all scored, uniformly graded them and judged all of them as number 1. In fact, Dr. Bala Iyer told me, why are you punishing me like this? So, that is a comment even with the children's Janmashtami costume contest. So hence, celebrating all the youth today, I thank Supradeepta ji for the Brahma Vandana Odissi dance and Kavita Diwari ji to help us arrange this. More, I also thank all the parents and the youth who joined today and hope to continue to work along with you as time goes by. We want you all to take the leadership roles. We are all getting into our end kind of a thing in our stage of life. We want the children to grow up to become responsible individuals and take leadership involved in the Hindu activities. Photography, Vijay Dikshit ji, videographer, Dhakar ji. Thank you so much, as always. And my board members were a pillar of support for me. Gopal Agarwal ji has arranged a boxed prasad for all of us to have prasad of Lord Ram. And with that, I individually thank all of you for being here. Jai Shri Ram.